Welcome. I'm Halcyon, and this is The Belief Buffet. And today I want to talk about unconditional happiness. It is chapter 15 in the book, The Untethered Soul. Really a powerful book. One that I was not ready for when I first started reading it a decade or so ago. And took it up again with the book group that I'm in. And I've been reading it just 2 chapters a week and digesting it and having conversations. And the chapter of this last week was about unconditional happiness. This idea that choosing to be happy, regardless of your situation. And I got to be honest, that idea of just choose to be happy, it did not resonate with me for most of my life. In fact, it kind of stirred me the wrong way. Like, just choose to be happy. Like, fuck you. Have you ever been depressed? Have you ever been frustrated? Like, how can you possibly just choose to be happy? But the way this book described it really just made me see it in a different way. It's not a denial of reality. It is a acknowledgement of reality. That, hey, can you reset your baseline? Can you be present enough so that then from that present moment you can go, wow, look at this. It's very much in line with ideas from, say, Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning. If you're not familiar with that book, it is the grandfather of so much of this power of thought ideas of how did he survive a concentration camp. And he did it through recognizing that he was in control of his thoughts. He was in control of what he would look forward to. Control of his mind. And it's also linked very much, this idea of unconditional happiness, to ideas of Byron Katie. This idea of learning to love reality. And you can choose to fight reality, but you will suffer only 100% of the time. And so you can hold on to this idea of things being unfair. And you can totally hold on to all your justifications. You're right. You deserve to be frustrated. You're right. The world is unfair. You're right. Absolutely. Now, that being said, how are you going to use that information? If you're going to use that information to be enraged and to the point that you take action in the world, then that's a legitimate reason to stay in a state of unhappiness. But if you're just going to stew in this and allow it to taint and poison your experience as a human being, which is this rare treat of consciousness, it is worth doing some inquiry. It is worth trying to figure out what is the cost of staying indignant and staying justified in your rage and frustration and depression and bitterness. So I was sharing this week in a live broadcast online. And a number of people that I knew were in the broadcast, and including my friend Aaron, who I will get more to in a second. But another friend that was in the group, they had an issue with what I said. They're like, are you like... They were saying similar things to what I used to say, of like, are you serious? And I was trying to explain my understanding, saying, look, I get it. This is really deep, advanced spiritual idea. And it is something that I'm no expert in. I'm just doing a book report on this concept and acknowledging that it really resonated with me in a way that never has before, and that I've actually used it this week as I looked towards things that I was worried about, being like, oh, what if I just choose to accept whatever the outcome is? And just that process of pondering that allowed me to let go of this anxiety and worry. And I was like, oh, this tool is working for me this week. So I shared that, had somebody go, are you serious? And as I tried to explain how I understood this, and that was about making some separation between reality, the conditions that are justifiably frustrating, and making space to your observer state and being like, from this baseline separation, can I then be grateful? Can I then be happy? Can I then knowing all that is wrong, can I still say, wow, this sandwich is delicious? Can I still say, oh my gosh, I get to have this conscious experience as a human. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be happy about the things that I can be happy about. And then I took a risk and I used an example, knowing that Aaron was listening. And Aaron is a new friend who is just graduated from the Pink Path and has been a participant in the gratitude gatherings. And Aaron is, can you just tell people your name, your age, and where you live?
Aaron John Weston Dorp, 36, from Minnesota, the frozen tundra of the North.
Can you share your condition and what you deal with?
My condition is eternal optimism, faced with a brainstem lesion, facial paralysis, and spastic quadriparesis, a partial paralysis from the eyes down. I breathe through a tracheostomy tube and eat through a gastrostomy tube. I communicate with the American Sign Language manual alphabet with those who know it and my iPad for everyone else. It sounds like a death sentence, but it's really not. It's a tool to connect with others, to educate, to entertain, to enlighten, and to share hearts and souls. I don't let my disability define me. It just accents my presentation to the world.
He's super sharp and he's super funny. And so as I was describing this unconditional happiness and trying to give an example, I said, like, for example, you might think to yourself, I could never be happy if I was stuck in a wheelchair. But people are. And then, like, on cue, Aaron just types in the chat room, he goes, I'm the happiest fucker you'll ever meet, John. And I just thought that is so, like, thank you for inspiring. He goes, I'm not heroic. I just have unique circumstances. And so, I asked Aaron if it was okay that I spoke about him. I was like, I don't want to use you as an example, but you're the fucking perfect example. And so as we justify our frustration, it's totally fine to be frustrated. It's totally fine to be angry, to find fault in the fairness of the world and your conditions. And wherever you are as a human, you deal with it from your baseline. If you are living in the gutter and you drop your moldy bread into the drain, you're going to be pissed. If you live in a obscene mansion and you scuff and scrape your gold toilet, you're going to be pissed. But these spiritual practices, these ideas of how can you find ways to bring your baseline back to bliss, a gratitude practice, a group gratitude practice, ideas such as is described in Untethered Soul, ideas of making separation between your conscious thoughts, inquiry on your thoughts, like the work from Byron Katie. And these are the practices so that we don't find ourselves in this very human pattern of suffering, from panicking over things that do not really deserve our panic. And so it's totally fine to feel whatever you're feeling. And this really powerful, very advanced practice of learning to have control over your thoughts, learning to work through the dips faster. I don't think it's a practice of saying, I never get frustrated, or nothing bad ever happens to me, or I never have suffering. It's when you have the suffering, having more control, being less a victim to it, and more actively being able to go, I'm having this experience. I'm being triggered. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm not going to wallow in this longer than I have to. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to figure out what, based on my experiences and my traumas and things, what is causing this to be so difficult. And then I'm going to work back to being unconditionally happy. So that is my practice in this moment. So thank you for being one of those incredible examples of beauty and inspiration in my life. So grateful. So happy. I love you. Welcome to a very special Conversation Nation, an opportunity for me to get to know better people that I know in the world, inspiring people doing inspiring things, and share them with you. Today, I'm very excited to talk to my good friend, Aaron, who I've gotten to know over the last year a little bit. We went through the Pink Path recently, and so got to share all sorts of things that we can't share with you because they're confidential and secret. So don't show the, never mind. So what is your current living situation?
I live on the second floor of an apartment complex made for people with various disabilities. It looks out onto Excelsior Boulevard, the main road through Hopkins, Minnesota, where I have been for the past 12 years. I am near the quaint downtown of Hopkins. Even though it's the first-ring suburb of Minneapolis, it feels like a small town with mom and pop businesses and a loving community. I have befriended various business owners and they are subjected to my insult comedy on a fairly regular basis. So no, John, it's not only you, it's pretty much everyone that I can do it to without getting in trouble.
I appreciate that you are being so sincere and serious. If you happen to cross paths with Aaron anywhere else, there is a good chance that he is going to roast your ass. So it's good to know it is not just me. So Aaron, what do you like to do for fun?
I hang out online much of my time. I join your Hog Nation gratitude gardens. I hang out with other burner folks as well. I go out, banter with others, talk to old camp friends, go to around downtown Hopkins. When there is not a pandemic, I sometimes go to bars and play percussion with various cover bands and local musical groups, and as I put it, harass the drunks.
Harass the drunks. So, how do you not get frustrated or depressed?
It's bold of you to assume I don't. I get anxious like everyone else. When one small aspect of my life is not perfect, I tend to freak out. But I remind myself, I am blessed with this life. I am blessed to have freedom to do what I want.
I appreciate that. And you're right, that was bold. Sometimes people say to me, or, how are you up all the time? And I have to be like, oh crap, do I give the impression that I'm up all the time? I apologize. So thank you for being clear with me as well. What do you enjoy most in life?
I enjoy the most connecting with various people, joking around with them, and just being there for the common good we all need to have and share. I like to learn new stuff.
Awesome. What is something that you wish people knew about you?
I have the best body odor you could possibly imagine. No, I wish people knew that even though I can be a smartass, I can be loving and caring too.
I can certainly vouch for that, Aaron. So what's it going to take to get you to dye your hair pink?
This reminds me of a story I told in my documentary about once, a long time ago. I had a family friend and her daughter take care of me when my parents were out of town. And this daughter was a total punk rocker. She had bright green hair, half her head was shaved, and we lived in a very affluent, very white suburb of Minneapolis. We went to the local art fair they have every summer, and the daughter later stated, "People didn't know who to stare at, the green-haired freak, or the disabled kid in a wheelchair who couldn't keep his mouth closed. So this is to say, I don't need any more attention, thank you very much."
All right. Well, if people want to learn more about your story, how can they view your documentary and hear your radio show and other social media stuff?
I will send you all the links to everything, so when you edit this, you can put the links down in the description at the bottom. Thanks for doing this, John.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen the documentary. It's fantastic, and highly recommend people check it out. And if you didn't hear from that question, Aaron also has a radio show that you can get more of his awesome personality. So finally, Aaron, you have taught me a lot, and I really appreciate our friendship. But you seem so damn fearless. How do you deal with fear?
The only thing I fear is pissing others off. I know it's surprising coming from an insult comic such as myself, but it's true. Fear is just imagination getting the best of us in the long run.
Aaron, thank you for your wisdom and your heart and your humor and our friendship. I hope many people get to see this and get to know you better and reach out, and your ripples in the world that just continue more and more and more. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, Aaron. I love you.
So are you going to send me my fee on PayPal?
We said there would be no fee, but yeah, okay, all right. I thought I already went broke paying all those people to say nice things to you in our gratitude circle.
No, I am glad to do this. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Aaron. See you soon. Bye.